Many of you have a doubt. How shall we speak fluently? What is the way in which we can learn English? It seems so frightening or so difficult. This video will clear all your doubts, and it will also tell you exactly what you should do in order to become fluent. For all learners of language, today we are talking about English because this is an English classroom, but any other language also you can learn by following this method. And the method is storytelling. Storytelling is something which you can listen to or you already know, and then you try to narrate it, you try to tell it, you try to speak it out. What happens is, when you are trying to speak out, then you are practicing the language, the structures of the language, the grammar of the language. You are practicing vocabulary. You are also practicing pronunciation. Since the story is known to you, you don't have to think. Somebody commented, "Madam, nobody wants to speak to me in English." Then don't worry. You try telling them a story in English. If they don't want to have a conversation in English, you have to motivate them to listen to your story in English. You are getting practice. They don't have to do anything. You are practicing. To begin with, practice on your own. So first, what you need to do, I will tell you at the end of the video what benefits language learner gets. That is why I would like you to see the videos till the end. First, I'm going to give you the examples. Listen to them very carefully, because unless you do that, you will not be able to tell this story, although one of the stories is very well known to all of you, I'm sure. I'm using the other story because the great Sister Nivedita, an Irish lady called Margaret Noble, she came to India and she wrote a book, Cradle Tales of Hinduism. In that she writes the story of Savitri and compares it to the story of a Greek heroine, Alcestis. So you see, comparison. That also is a wonderful way of practicing. So there are many benefits which you will get in this video. Watch it and let me know in the comments what all you are learning. Many of you send me compliments. I feel happy. If you tell me I'm good, I feel happy. But I'm not able to communicate with you by finding out how much you're learning. This is a classroom. So every time we need to communicate with each other. So please watch and immediately send a comment. Now let us move on to the story. 2 stories I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to also tell you what are the benefits of storytelling. These are the 3 parts in today's video. Part 1. This is a story, a very famous story, which is very often told. It is from our ancient books, the Mahabharata. The story is of Savitri. Savitri was a princess. Now look at the simple sentence I have used. Savitri was a princess. That means she was the daughter of a king. Now again you repeat, she was the daughter of a king. When she grew up, the parents thought that she should get married. It is natural. Parents think like that. So when she grew up, the parents thought that she should get married. I'm repeating myself for the beginners. Those of you who are much ahead can, recite the story on your own, tell the story on your own. But you can listen to the video completely because I will tell you the benefits last. In those days, girls had to select their own husbands. They were not chosen, or they didn't have the concept of arranged marriage. So Savitri went looking for a person whom she would like to marry. Savitri went looking for a person whom she wanted to marry. She, as a princess, she should have chosen a great king who was ruling in some other kingdom. She was a princess, so she should have married a great prince or a king. But one day she found her future husband in the forest. She found a person, she said, "This is the person I want to marry." But this young boy, although he was a prince, but he lived in the forest with his parents, the king and the queen and the prince. 3 of them lived in the forest. I'm not giving you the names because I'm sure you know. And names, somebody said it is very difficult to remember. So don't worry. I've told you only one name, and Savitri. So Savitri, young Savitri, found this person, this prince, but they were very poor. They lived in a forest. They didn't have a palace. The reason is because the father, that is the king, had a curse. So he became blind. He lost his eyesight, became blind. Same meaning, lost his eyesight. You see, vocabulary. We are learning vocabulary. So the father, because he lost his kingdom, he became blind. The son came and stayed here. Savitri went home and said, "I want to marry this person." The parents said, "No. How can you marry such a poor person?" Savitri says, "If you allow me to marry this person, I will get married. Otherwise, I will not marry anybody else." So this poor prince in the jungle and the rich princess got married. Savitri left all her wealth and came and stayed in the forest with them. She looked after her parents-in-law very well. She looked after her husband. She did all the work along with her husband. He used to be a woodcutter. Woodcutter, they would go into the jungle, they would cut the wood and they would bring it. In those days, there was no electricity. There was no gas. So wood was a source of energy. So the young prince used to cut wood. Before Savitri's marriage, they already came to know that this boy has only 1 year to live. These days doctors tell us how much time we have to live if we are, not well, etc. Then we have astrology also. Somebody looks at your hand and says you will live to be so many years. So the sage came to the parents and said, "How can she marry this boy? He has only 1 year to live." Savitri did not listen. So she kept counting the days, each day, 1 day. Finally, the last day of the year came. Then she told him, "I will come with you today." He said, "No, why will you come? You do the work at home, I will go." She said, "No, today I will come." When they went deep in the forest, he said, "I'm very tired today. Let me lie down and rest." As soon as he lay down on the floor of the forest, he died. And then the people who came to collect his soul, the god of death, he came. He said, body is to be left here, soul has to go high. So he took it and went. Savitri did not sit there and cry. She was not like a girl who would just sit doing nothing. She was very active. She was full of ideas. She was very intelligent. So she started following the god of death. The god of death has taken the soul of her husband. She is following. So he turned back and said, what are you following? You can't come because you still have the body. You go back. Your husband's body is there. You do everything that has to be done. She said, no, how can I leave him and go? Please return him. He said, no. When she kept following and kept following, the god of death felt sorry for her. Said, okay, you ask me for anything else, I will give it to you. Don't ask for your husband's life. Savitri was very intelligent. She said, okay, give my parents-in-law their eyesight. Okay. Still, she continued to follow him. He said, now what? What do you want? I want that they get back their kingdom. Every time the god of death was saying, don't ask for your husband's life. Okay, they've got their kingdom. They've got their eyes, they've got their kingdom. Again she was following. He said, what do you want now? She said, I want to be a mother of hundreds of children. God of death didn't realize she was being so smart. He said, okay, I've granted you this. Now please go. Then Savitri said, how can you take away my husband when you have promised children to me? She defeated the god of death and she brought back the life of her husband. This is why Savitri is a great heroine. Great people like Swami Vivekananda have said that Savitri is a role model for everybody even today. We find in Savitri's story sacrifice. She is willing to give up her life completely. That is the Greek story, Alcestis. Her husband also was given by god Apollo the curse that he has to die. Then the king said, Alcestis was also queen. The king, her husband, said that I don't want to die, I'm so young. Then the god said, you please bring somebody who will die instead of you. Then you will live. Now who will die instead of another person? Nobody. Alcestis says, you are my husband. I will sacrifice myself for you. So she was willing to die. She died for her husband. The husband continued to live. But when Hercules, you see the picture on the shoulder, he's carrying the whole world. Very, very powerful symbol is Hercules. He said, he heard the story and said, what is her fault? She should not die. So he brought Alcestis back to life. That's a long story, I'm telling you short. There is a beautiful drama also by Euripides, great Greek dramatist. Savitri also has a great poem written by Sri Aurobindo, who was a great politician, who was a great freedom fighter, and also later a great saint. So these are two stories which I have told you. Now let me tell you about the benefits of storytelling. First benefit of storytelling is that the ideas are already there in your mind. You know the story. So if the ideas are already in your mind, you can convert those ideas into the English language. That is the first benefit of storytelling. You don't have to choose a subject from outside. You don't have to talk about anything which you don't know. Story is already known to you. You can easily tell this story. The second benefit of storytelling is that it gives you a length of speaking. I have given you many videos for beginners where I have used single sentences. Now that's good for beginners, but you can't speak all your life in single sentences. Remember, a small child says, "Mother, food," 2 words only. Now all his life or all her life, the child cannot use sentences which are only 2 words. Later the child will learn to say, "Mother, I'm very hungry, please give me food. What have you cooked today? Have you made something which I like?" 5 sentences. So the child is learning. In this way, storytelling is a wonderful way of learning what we call connected speech. Connected means sentence one after another, not separate, but immediately one following the other. I have given you videos on great people like Abraham Lincoln, Dr. Ambedkar, Swami Vivekananda. Soon you will get a video on Dr. Abdul Kalam, great person. So when you tell the life story, already you know life is lived, they are no more. Then the facts are in your mind. You can give connected speech. These 2 benefits are important. Now what is the third benefit? The third benefit is that when you are telling the story, you can correct yourself. Suppose you are telling the story, you're standing in front of the camera and talking, telling that story, then you can say, "Oh, in this part I made a mistake in the story. That story is not like that, or that word is not suitable." I gave you one example of 2 words. I said, "He became blind, he lost his eyesight." Now see, that is how you can do correction. And benefit number 4, which also has this same example, can be used. You can tell the story in different words. You need not use the same words I have used. Instead of saying that Savitri was a princess, the daughter of a king, you can say that the king had a daughter whose name was Savitri. Now you see how much benefit comes to you. If you do storytelling like this, you tell the same story in one different way, you tell the story in some other way, you will find that your vocabulary, your expression, your confidence and your fluency are all improving. The story is only the basis, it's the foundation. And on that you are building your language skills. Your entire language becomes better. Now why did I give you 2 stories? Because Savitri all of you have heard, Alcestis many of you haven't heard. Literature students might have heard. I gave you so many literature videos which have stories. Just listen to the story. Then repeat that story on your own. You need not listen to all the literary aspect. Of course, many of you are listening, although you're not students of literature, and you are commenting very beautifully. I feel happy because English is best learned from literature. You can't learn a language better than from literature. So I gave you an unfamiliar story to make you compare. Now you can compare. I can tell the story of Savitri in 5 minutes. I can tell the story of Alcestis only in 1 minute. So let me find out more. You have Google, find it, and then tell that story also for 5 minutes. Compare them. Compare Savitri to Alcestis. Compare their background, Greek and Indian. There was a lot of similarity between Greek and Indian. Of course, those things I don't tell you because that is all for, a higher level of talking, not for learning a language. But I give you all these small bits of information so that whoever is interested can do some research. You can find out and become better. So these four benefits, these four benefits which I have mentioned are very, very important for you. So try storytelling. Write down the list of stories you know from your childhood till today. And then if you have seen a movie, write down that movie's name also. You can tell the story. Even if you can't repeat word by word, you can tell generally what happened in 3 hours, you can tell in 10 or 15 sentences. In this way, if you work, you will find that storytelling benefits you to speak better. All those of you who are writing comments in other languages, try to write in English and try to practice English. First start with shadowing and beginners and then come to storytelling. I'm sure a story you can write in the comment. Thousands of people will read that and your English will become better. Their interest also will become better. Thank you and all the best.